So, at the end of the race at Pocono yesterday, it seemed like Denny Hamlin was going to walk away with his third victory of the season, tying Chase Elliott for most wins in 2022, getting the most wins ever at Pocono Raceway of any driver, and looking to lock himself in, even though he has been subpar all year, as a championship threat. And then post-race inspection happened, where Denny Hamlin, the winner, and Kyle Busch, who placed P2, were disqualified for the race at Pocono, and it looked like it was a deal with the front fascia underneath of the wrap itself, which is why it didn't get caught in pre-race. Now, this is the first time a win has been taken away since about the 1960s. It is unprecedented in modern NASCAR times, even though the rule has been put in place that wins could be taken away since the 2019 season. Well, what's happened? The winner now is Chase Elliott, and he's the first winner in a long time, I think since 1955, to not lead a single lap in the race. And Denny Hamlin, well, he'll be put back into 35th position, and Kyle Busch will be put back into 36th position. So a pretty massive penalty just on one race alone for Pocono, but there's still more that can happen. This still can be appealed by JGR. Now, even if it is, it's highly unlikely that this is getting overturned. NASCAR would not come out, say that a win is taken away, and then give a win back when they found something that was modified on the next-gen car, unless it was a massive mistake. And knowing NASCAR, they would probably not admit fault on that. At the moment, the only penalty is the disqualifications. They have said that would probably be the only penalty. No points or money or whatnot would be assessed because, let's face it, it's penalty enough to get disqualified from a race that you've won or finished second in. But this doesn't mean that it's completely over. NASCAR at the moment, as we speak, is at the R&D Center tearing down the two cars that were the culprits here. And I'm thinking that if they find something, the point penalty could grow with further inspection. And the worst case scenario was like an L3 or something like that, which is modifying the next gen car when they're not supposed to, because this could lead to a penalty like what Brad Keselowski got, which wouldn't eliminate either from the playoffs, but it would put Kyle Busch in a precarious situation when it comes to the playoff cut line. And it would also, if egregious enough, waiver playoff eligibility for the 11 and 18. Now, I don't think it's going to come to that. I think NASCAR isn't going to lay the hammer down just yet on that, especially seeing how FedEx is such a major sponsor in the sport. I think that has to be in the account of some fans' thinking here, and I think NASCAR isn't going to be too overboard with it. But I would not be surprised if there are more points penalties because of this. Look what happened with Brad Keselowski earlier this season. The fact that he's still eligible in any way for the playoffs, in a lot of people's eyes, was actually pretty astounding. So maybe there is a giant penalty coming if they find anything else. Reality is that maybe this points penalty will be it if anything's found. If not, then we're going to stick with what we have now, I'm assuming, when it comes to the penalties for the JGR cars. But the big point of all of this is the fallout for it. I think that there's going to be a bit of fallout for not only the two involved, there's fallout for other people in better ways, and I think that it's going to hurt Toyota overall. Well, let's look at Denny Hamlin first. First off, Denny Hamlin loses a win. That is a huge penalty in and of itself because Denny Hamlin's not had a great year. He might not get another win at the end of the year, and he's not getting any younger, so who knows how many wins he has left in him. Yeah, he's good at Pocono, but it's not a guarantee to win a NASCAR Cup Series race ever. And in losing this win, he loses 5 NASCAR playoff points, which, like I said, because he's outside of the top 10 and even top 15, is desperately needed from wins and stage wins. And losing any of those is instrumental in the finishing of this season being better or worse for him. He also loses about 50 points, but that doesn't really matter because of how far back he is. But still, a pretty massive blow to Hamlin. And then you got Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch loses about as many points as Denny Hamlin, but the only difference is he doesn't have multiple wins. He has one. So losing those points is not something that's very good overall if we do end up getting 16 or more winners, because a few bad races like he's been having and Kyle Busch falls into a dangerous cut line. Plus, this could affect playoff seeding if he's still in the top 10 or falls out of the top 10, as he won't get those bonus playoff points for being a top 10 in points driver after 26 races. And then if he does lose playoff eligibility, well, that's going to really hurt long term for something we'll talk about in a bit. For Chase Elliott, this is a huge, great fallout. This extends his regular season lead even more to a near insurmountable 105 points. This is probably going to be the final bit of him winning this championship for the regular season. He's damn near 2 races ahead on points, and he's gained pretty much a lock on 15 playoff points that come with winning the regular season championship. Those 15 playoff points being the equivalent of 15 stage wins or 3 race wins. So right now, he's going into the playoffs like he has 7 victories, which is pretty damn good. And it could really help him just skate by and make the Final Four relatively easily over a very competitive field. Now, back in the negative fallout, we have Toyota. Toyota is probably going to be put under a microscope by NASCAR for the rest of the season. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, and Kurt Busch are all locked into the playoffs, with Martin Truex Jr. currently in on the bubble. So I think that NASCAR is going to be looking at Toyota with eagle eyes. So that's going to be something that throughout the regular season and definitely the playoffs could become a major story if one of them gets caught doing something again. Now, the other big one, and this one might be already irreparable, but it's the fallout and major strain on the already unstable relationship between Joe Gibbs Racing and Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch has just kind of seemed like he's off this year. It definitely seems like the contract talks and everything off of the track has distracted him to the point where it's really affecting his performance. And you could see it after the race when Joe Gibbs came up to him, and it looked like at first he was doing media stuff, but in reality he really wasn't, and Kyle Busch basically blew off the coach. If there's even more strain to this could already add to the rumors, like what Jordan Bianchi said, about Kyle Busch more than likely not returning to the 18 next year. And it already adds even more intrigue on the silly season news, as well as just Kyle Busch in general. It's definitely going to be something that people are going to add on, even if this isn't the case. So this is going to have ramifications for the rest of the regular season and probably the rest of the playoffs and maybe into next year for all of these accounts that I talked about. But now I want to ask you, what do you think the fallout of the major disqualifications for Joe Gibbs Racing are going to be? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. Thank you to all my channel members for your continued support. And until next time, have a good one.